Bonjour. Hello. Welcome back to Elden Ring. This is part 9 of our full walkthrough of the game. Last time, we went through all of Nokron, the Eternal City. And while doing that, we also got Einzel River Main and the Great Waterfall Crest. This is where we are going to be starting in this part. So, from the site of Grace, you can head straight forward and to the left, where you'll find this Erdtree Avatar mini-boss. While we're fighting them, I should state that you may notice I'm a different level, and I have a rune arc that I don't have on the rest of the series, or the rest of this run, rather. And the reason for that is because I'm actually doing two characters back to back, where I have a test run character where I run through whatever area I'm doing, and then I do the normal, just the normal walkthrough part. And thankfully I record the test run, because in this part I had weird recording issues for the normal run, and so I couldn't really use that. So thankfully I have the test character that I also record as a just in case, because I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything during the recording, which is the main purpose of the test run. But defeating them, you get 10k and Staff of the Avatar. From there, there's this little hill section where you can head up, and between these two skull plate and enemies, there's a scarab. It gets you the Ash of War, Golden Land. From there, we can head back to the Site of Grace to get our health, FP, and flasks back, along with resetting our position. From there, we can head straight west to make it onto these giant branches. Heading up this first one that you see, you can take this little jump off to the right in order to get a Smithing Stone 6. From there you can jump down, continue heading straight west, and off to the right there will be another branch you can jump onto. This leads you up and into a cave. In here there are plenty of giant ants. And you may notice one of them is bloated. Those bloated ones drop you a Newman's Rune and a Rune Arc guaranteed. Newman's Rune getting you 12.5k. Though you only get those two items the first time you pop. But heading through that first set of enemies, you can take this drop down, where there will be a bunch more of these bloated ants. Here there's a Somber Stone 6, and you may want to be careful, as when you pop the bloated ants down here, a bunch of normal ants fall from the ceiling. So if you just care about speed, you can run through here on Torrent, hit all of these bloated parts, because you can basically one-shot them with anything. though that will have the entire room of ants drop down onto you. So if you just care about speed, you can run in, pop all of those very quickly, and then run out ignoring all of the ants. But here, for the sake of runes, we're going to be killing all of them. And once you are done with this room, you can continue on where there will be the incantation Elden Stars right there. From there, you can run up this branch and get a smithing stone 4 before hopping down into this large area. There are a bunch of these winged ants around here. You can run past them if you want, but they're protecting a few items. So you can kill them if you want to get the items. You can run past them if you want, just for the sake of time. The items aren't too important. It's just a golden rune and a smithing stone 4. But if you're doing a ranged magic build, they're easy enough to justify it. Though a melee build, you may want to just run by. But after taking care of all of them, heading generally northwest, you should find this site of grace. It's pretty close to this massive, just colossal tree. So you can use that to get your bearings if you can't find the grace. But from there, we're going to head into the bramble. And there will be this main path that you can go down. At the end, there's a gazebo with the map fragment, but we're going to head to the right instead. As there are some goodies by this wall with all the waterfalls. Now do be careful, as around here there are lots of basilisks. Especially in this building to the left here. Which we're actually going to head into. Now, in case you don't know, basilisks do no damage. However, they spray this death blight mist onto the ground in front of them, as you can see there, and standing inside of it builds up the death blight status. If your gauge, meter, whatever you want to call it, completely fills up, you die instantly. So it's pretty easy to avoid the mist, especially if you're doing a ranged build. But they do technically have the capacity to one-shot you, so be cautious. Don't be afraid to back up or run away if the meter starts getting a bit too high. Now, if all you care about is speed and not being safe or thorough or getting runes, you can just run in here on Torrent, grab the items, and run out. That is something that you can do. But in this room, there's a rune arc and 3 smithing stone 6. Now continuing to head along the waterfall wall, there's a somewhat hidden cave with a Giga Bear. If you can manage to kill this Giga Bear, then you are guaranteed to get a pretty good talisman that greatly increases your resistance to Death Blight. So, it's pretty niche, but it does a good job in that niche. Though, we are going to be coming back to that Giga Bear later, and kill it in a much easier way. For now, we're going to continue following the wall, where when you see that, like, door with the two blue flames, you can't actually open that door, but you can go around the building, because there's an opening on the other side. Getting into there, there's an enemy, but if you can get behind the enemy, they're defenseless. And upon killing them, you can safely get the Ash of War Vacuum Slice. From there, you can head straight out, where there will be the gazebo with the map fragment. That is the way that we came from before heading to the side. In case you don't want to just head straight forward. But from here, at the gazebo, we are going to head north, where you should hear and pretty soon see a scarab. You can kill that for a Somber Stone 6. Then you can head northeast and follow the wall north, maybe slightly northwest, where you can get a Ghost Glowwort 5, along with a Spirit Spring to the side. Some enemies may aggro onto you, but they don't really chase you, so don't worry about that. But up on this rooftop, you can get some Arteria Leaves, along with a single Smithing Stone 7. It is here on the map, if you like to pin the map and go from there. Jumping down, you can head southwest in as straight of a line as you can manage. It can be kind of difficult with all the trees, but you should soon run into this slanted building. It holds a Smithing Stone 5, and just beyond that is a Site of Grace. It is here on the map if you want to pin that. You can pin this little section of water if you want, just because that's more identifiable on the map, and the Site of Grace is close by. But from there, we are going to head west into this little section where there will be a bunch of gravestones with items. Nothing too important, mostly just some golden runes. Though it does have 2 Smithing Stone 4. And notably, it also has this coffin. You can rest in this coffin to make it to the Einzel River main Site of Grace. So there's 2 ways to get there. In case you don't remember, that's where we picked up the miniature Ronnie. So, from there, we can head back over to where the Site of Grace was. And from the Site of Grace, you can head like north-northwest down into this lower section. And you can kinda hug the left wall Near this spirit spring, there will be a ghost Fortissax, and if you take the spirit spring jump up and onto this rooftop, you will get a free stone sword key. If you take it up again and head towards the big tree, you'll find a boss in Siluria, Crucible Knight. Now, this boss is pretty dangerous, especially that poke attack, as it has deceptively long range. And they do pretty good damage, especially if you're more of a glass cannon build. As you can see here, you have to respect them, their range and their damage. But they're pretty close to the site of grace, so don't worry too much, as it's only like a 15-ish second run back on torrent. So, upping up, you can pretty quickly have a rematch, where you can then respect that big poke attack. Don't forget to grab your runes if you die. And from there, it's really just a thing of good luck. Dodge into the boss when you can, especially that poke attack. And that's really it, just good luck. Dangerous and intimidating, but fair. And upon defeating them, you will get 35,000 runes, and the Siluria's free. It might have been 25k. Either way, from there you can get the Crucible Tree armor set, and just outside of the tree, you can get a Ghost Lowort 7. From there, you should spot this group of mausoleum enemies close by with 2 giant tree branches. Choose the right one. You can ignore all of the enemies, as we will be getting most of them to despawn. But just head forwards and up this branch, as our goal is to make it onto this wandering mausoleum. So we are going to jump onto it, and from there, break all of these little ghost face things. Whatever they are. Once you break enough of them, the wandering mausoleum will sit down, knock you off. Don't worry, it does no damage. But on top of despawning all of the mausoleum enemies, you can also head inside to duplicate any remembrance that you currently have. So you can either get one, pop it for runes, or get a second reward from Enya. But as you can see, all of the mausoleum enemies have despawned. And from there, we can head straight north to this slanted building, where you can get a Somberstone 6. And from there, you can head west, southwest, headed down this way. Following that pathway, you will get a Smithing Stone 5. And continuing on this little side branch here, you can get a Golden Rune 8. And from there, if you continue on just a little bit more, this is where you took the Spirit Spring jump up to fight the boss. And this is where that first group of enemies was that I said to ignore. Here you can get a Ghost Glowport 6 and a Golden Rune. Before we went up the right path, this time you can head slightly up the left path, because there's a Scarab. Taking them out gets you a Somberstone 6. From there, head up the right path again. And before we went that way, this time you want to take another right in order to jump onto this rooftop, where you can get a Smithing Stone 6. Then you can head back up to where you were before. Here I slightly misremembered something. I thought it was here. It's not on the right path, it's in the middle. So I will get to that very shortly. But if you then head down this little middle path, on the right side of it, you can take a drop down here to get a Somberstone 7. Another drop, and there will be a building right next to you. This gets you another Somberstone 7. Then, if you head out and go southwest, you should run into a building. If you head along the left side of the building, then you should find an entrance with a third, you guessed it, Somberstone 7. Head out a little bit to the left, and then you can head up and to the right, where you will soon find the Site of Grace. So you can sit there, get your health, FP, flasks, everything back, level up if you can, and from there, head, like, generally southeast, a bit more east, where you should see this enemy sitting on a branch. You want to head up the branch. You can head left or right, go left first, as heading up here gets you the Prince of Death's Staff. This is a dual intelligence faith glintstone staff. From there you can safely take out this enemy that was breathing fire at you. Then you can head down and get a Smithing Stone 6 here. Then you can head back the way you came from before, but just continue going up. Ignore the first few side paths until you get to this branch near the very top. as this allows you to safely kill this guy. And from there, you can jump over to get a new Site of Grace. From there, you can head back onto the branches, where there are two more of these, like, mangled gargoyle enemies. Take both of them out, and you can safely ride up to the very top of the branches, where you'll find a golden rune and a jump down here. Now, in this little section, you'll find a hole. It is here on the map. But headed down this hole, make sure to take it slowly. Better to be safe than dead. But after a few drops, you'll get a Somber Stone 7 and the high ground on that Giga Bear we saw earlier. So, if you have ranged spells, you should be able to take them out pretty easily, pretty safely. They have a lot of health, so it's going to take a bit, but a long time doesn't mean a difficult time. So just have patience, make sure that you come properly prepared. And when they go down, they go down. With their death, you are free to grab the Prince of Death's fist. As I said, this greatly raises vitality, which governs death. So you now have a stronger version of that for whenever you run into Death's Blight in the future. But from here, you can head back to Across the Roots. Make sure to level up if you can. And you may, if you're doing an intelligence build like me, you may want to use some stat boosting stuff to get your intelligence to 38. Because this is the first time where Night Comet will be almost a must-have. So Stargazer Heirloom boosts your intelligence stat by 5 points, and Twin Sage Glintstone Crown boosts it by 6. You need 38 intelligence to use Night Comet, so with those two things combined, as long as you have 27 naturally, you should be able to use Night Comet. But from there, just head towards this giant weird looking thing. And once you get close, it will spawn a boss fight. Now these are NPCs. As you can see, I wasn't really taking it seriously. So, even if you think a boss is easy, you still need to take it seriously. It's a bit unfortunate, but that's the way things go when you run a glass cannon build. The way that this boss works is it starts off with one NPC, then another one NPC, and then 3 NPCs all at once. If you play offline, they're the same every time, and you'll see what they look like as I go through this boss. But if you're playing online, then they can take the forms of other, like, real players. Not as in an actual person, but it's just someone else's build. So you'll still be fighting NPCs, but they'll be NPCs with a real human build. And that can lead to a lot of variety, but it also makes the boss much less predictable. Although, less predictable doesn't necessarily mean more difficult, as the 3 that you have to deal with at the same time in offline mode, they can get pretty difficult. So as you can see, you may be able to hit multiple enemies because the Night Comet goes through enemies. But this guy right here, Lionel the Lionhearted, he's the biggest threat in my opinion because he has massive amounts of poise, he has a spell that has very good tracking and follows you for a long time, and he has a heavy thrusting spear that has a good range and speed, and he can also sprint at you. And as you can see there, a Night Comet straight to the face did not stun him, because he has so much poise. But treat the boss with respect, and you'll hopefully get through the fight. It's a weirdly difficult boss, at least in my opinion. But upon defeating them, you get Fias Mist and 40,000 runes, along with a Set of Grace. Now, upon defeating them, you can talk to Fia, or you can take this teleporter. This teleporter brings you to Lanedell, the royal capital. You can think of this as like Stormvale Castle, or Raya or Altus. It's the main big legacy dungeon of the area. But talking to Fia, you want to pick No, I Want to Be Held. Talk in secret. Talk in secret again. And then choose Give Curse Mark of Death. If you don't have this, then you can see how to get it in the previous part where I did Nokron. But after getting an item from her, talk to her once more, then reload the area. From there, talk to her one more time. You'll know that you did it correctly when she says, "This is goodbye, but I am satisfied." Once you hear that, then you're good to go. and you want to pop the Baldachin's Blessing, as having it in your inventory lowers your maximum HP. The Radiant Baldachin's Blessing is fine, it doesn't lower your health. But from there, you can reload the area. You can use this as an opportunity to level up, if you can. And as you can see, I'm missing a little bit of health. That's from the Baldachin's Blessing. But after you reload the area, Fia will be, like, laying down and asleep. From there, you can enter the deathbed dream. This gets you a boss fight against Lichdragon Fortissax. Do beware, as they have physical, fire, and lightning damage, but also some of their lightning strikes call down Death Blight. So that Giga Bear may be worth it. So with that being said, I'm going to let this fight play out. There's not a whole lot to say about this boss, as it's mostly just an ancient dragon. Outside of, if you get below it, like if you're directly underneath the boss, then there will be a delayed lightning strike directly on top of you. And that can make the boss kind of annoying if you're doing a melee build. So, ranged spell builds. Pretty good for this boss. But as you can see, I'm using Great Glintstone Shard with, I believe, 27 intelligence. And Demi-Human Queen Staff at, I believe, plus 16. Along with the Graven School Talisman. And 5 blue flasks. And as you can see, it's more than enough to get the job done. But with them dead, you are rewarded with 90,000 runes and remembrance of the Lich Dragon. From there, you can go and get the Mending Rune of the Death Prince from Fia. This allows you to get a different ending if you want. Reload the area, and D will be here talking. Talk to him, and reload the area once more. That will have him despawn, and from there you can get Fia's hood and robe, along with the Inseparable sword and the twinned armor set. With that being said, that's the entire area. I mean, we've done everything in the Deeproot depths. There's still that teleporter that brings you to Landell. There's the teleporter here that brings you to Einzel River, Maine. And that's actually what we're going to be doing in the next part. Now, with that being said, there's also normal Altus and Dragon Barrow, but we will be doing those later. Next time is Einzel River, Maine. But with that being said, I hope you found this to be educational. I hope you found it to be entertaining. With that being said, yeah.